Okay, multiplying a complex number by a real number. So we have this real number 4, and we're going to be multiplying it times this complex number, 2 plus 5i. Now remember, all real numbers are complex numbers, but we'll skip over that part. So 4 times 2, we're going to distribute, right? 4 times 2 is 8, and then 4 times 5i is going to be 20i. Okay? Now, I'm going to put a little more, that's the answer. I'm going to put a little more into this video, just because I forgot to mention it in the very first video. When we have an imaginary number, like we talked about that, we said the square root of -1 is now being represented by I. Okay, that's true. You want to remember that fact. But another fact that you want to know is I squared is equal to -1. Now that's a really big deal, okay? So I want you to remember I squared equals -1. That's important. Otherwise we're going to get messed up whenever we try to have an I squared in our number, because remember, complex numbers can be written in standard form, A plus BI. So I'm going to give you a little example here. Let's say we had 4i times 3 plus 2i. I'm just making this problem up. Well, you would go 4i times 3, 12i. That's fine. And then you'd go 4i times 2i. Well, what would that give you? 4 times 2 is 8, but I times I is I squared. Okay, so now we say, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't look like a complex number. That's not in A plus BI form. So, right, like we're trying to have all our numbers be complex numbers. But here's the deal. The I squared is -1. So that's what I want to introduce here. That when you multiply, and we're going to do it in the next video, but if we get an I squared, we're going to replace that I squared with -1. Now we have 12i plus a -8, but to put it in, A plus BI form, we're going to write -8 plus 12i. Okay, so I'm throwing in an extra example just so you can have a heads up on what's coming here in a minute. But this is what you want to remember. I squared equals -1. Okay? All right.